Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Praja Janaranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashoda Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Hare Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudha, Giridhari Gopinath Madana Moha, Giridhari Gopinath Madana Moha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga bolo Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Ba Hari Ba Hari Bol Hari Bol. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Ashtottara Satati Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindha Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की, श्री प्रभुपाद की, प्रभुपाद अनुगा की, सामवेत भक्त वृंद की, नित्याय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Shri Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, which shloka? Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 44. Tasmagidam Bhagavatam Puranam Dashalakshanam Proktam Bhagavata Praha Pritan Putraya Bhutakrit. Please repeat. Tasmagidam Bhagavatam Puranam Dashalakshanam Proktam Bhagavata Praha Pritah Putraya Bhutakrit. Tasma idam Bhagavatam Puranam Dashalakshanam Proktam Bhagavata Praha Pritah Putraya Bhutakrit. Tasmagidam Bhagavatam Puranam Dashalakshanam Proktam Bhagavata Praha Pritah Putraya Bhutakrit. Tasmai person thereupon idam this Bhagavatam, the glories of the Lord or the signs of the Lord. Puranam, Vedic supplement. Dashalakshanam, 10 characteristics. Proktam, described. Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead. Praha, said. Pritaha, in satisfaction. Putraya, unto the Son. Bhutakrit, the creator of the universe. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation thereupon the supplementary Vedic literature Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described by the personality of Godhead and which contains 10 characteristics, was told with satisfaction by the Father Brahma to his son Narada. Purport: although the Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken in 4 verses, it had 10 characteristics, which will be explained in the next chapter. In the 4 verses, it is first said that the Lord existed before the creation, and thus the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam includes the Vedanta aphorism Janmadyasya Yata. Janmadyasya, in the beginning. Yet the 4 verses in which it is said that the Lord is the root of everything that be, beginning from the creation up to the Supreme Lord, abode of the Lord, naturally explain the 10 characteristics. One should not misunderstand by wrong interpretations that the Lord spoke only 4 verses and that therefore the rest of the 17,994 verses are useless. The 10 characteristics, as will be explained in the next chapter, require so many verses just to explain them properly. Brahmaji had also advised Narada previously that he should expand the idea he had heard from Brahmaji. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed this to Srila Rupa Goswami in a nutshell. But the disciple Rupa Goswami expanded this very elaborately, and the same subject was further expanded by Jiva Goswami and even further by Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. We are just trying to follow in the footsteps of these authorities. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not like ordinary fiction or mundane literature. It is unlimited in strength, and however one may expand it according to one's own ability, Bhagavatam still cannot be finished by such expansion. Srimad Bhagavatam, being the sound representation of the Lord, is simultaneously explained in 4 verses and in 4 billion verses all the same. Inasmuch as the Lord is smaller than the atom and bigger than the unlimited sky, such is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Tat Sat. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanavitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. This chapter is titled Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. And here we are reading about how the Lord has spoken 4 verses, the famous Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And from there is expansion of the Bhagavatam. The 4 verses spoken are very potent. They contain solid information. It is very similar to Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Ham Sarvasya Prabhavo Mattas Sarvam Pravartate. Like that, following that, there are 10 shlokas, which is supposed to be the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, the Bhagavatam, just Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Many great acharyas have commented on this. And it contains all the essence of the whole Bhagavat. So, it was first spoken, Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surya. Spoken from Krishna himself directly to Brahma, from his heart. Tene Brahma Hridaya. Adi Kavaye. Adi Kavi. He is the first person. From his heart, Krishna spoke the truth, the Bhagavatam, to him. And after that, Brahma speaking now to Narada. His son Narada, he is speaking to. Narada expands it further and speaks it to Vyasa. I have the exact number of shlokas. I didn't know that this is a shloka I'm supposed to speak to today. Every Sunday is a surprise. Suddenly a shloka is put in front of me. So I'm speaking extempore. Otherwise, I would have liked to bring those references for you. From 4, I think it went to some 140 or something verses. And then from there, Narada explains to Vyasa, and Vyasa expounds it further and writes it. He is the literary incarnation of the Lord. He writes Bhagavatam. And you know that episode where Vyasadeva is become morose, depressed, sad. After writing all the Puranas, the Vedic literature and everything, he has become sad. And Narada Muni is meeting him. And he is having an inkling of why I am sad already. Just because I have not done direct marketing of Krishna. I have done indirect marketing. I have promoted Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda and Yoga, all these things, because very carefully only you must state. People will not accept Krishna directly. So he was already feeling, that indirect marketing he has done. Sometimes when we are asked to preach, we are told, don't speak religion, don't say Krishna, don't say God and all that. Just speak, just yoga, something like that. I can understand Vyasadev's austerity in writing all the Puranas without directly, here and there a little bit mentioning. Of course, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna directly mentions, so he cannot do anything about it. He has to write what Krishna said, so he wrote that. But Narada Muni pointed out that this you have not directly mentioned about Krishna. And therefore he said, this is it. You gave me permission now. I always wanted to do it. And I thought people in this material world who have put their face away from Krishna would not directly like to hear about Krishna. Krishna Bahirmukha Bhogavanchakare. They have come for a different reason here. So a direct presentation is not good. But now that you have given me permission fully, that it shall be. And before that he had a direct darshan of Krishna, his material energy, all his other energies working, and he had an entire darshan of the whole picture. And he got to understand by the mercy of his guru, Narada. And in this way he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam in full realization of everything, Krishna, his energies and everything together. He wrote the Bhagavat. Now, he wanted to teach the Bhagavatam to his son. One thing is to write, but other thing is to talk. and explain why I have written what I have written. But his son went away. He got liberated at birth itself. In fact, he was liberated even before birth. In his mother's womb itself, he was liberated. He walked out of his house. So he said, my son, I want to... He left without even looking at his father. But the amazing thing is, the son became attracted to Bhagavatam. Then he came back home. Shukadeva Goswami heard the chanting of Bhagavatam by the disciples of Vyasadeva in the forest. He went off to the forest. He was a Brahmagyani, completely free from anything material. He was simply enjoying Brahman status. So he went away. But after going to the forest in the very enjoyable full mode, he hears the Bhagavatam. Atma ramascha munayo nirgranta api urukrame kurvanti ahetukim bhaktim ittam bhuta guno hari. Ittam bhuta guno hari. Hari's guna. Even those who are Atma ramascha munayo, who have liberated and have got nothing to do with the material world, even they get attracted to it. Hari guna. That is the statement that Hari's pastimes are so wonderful to hear, that even the liberated persons feel incomplete and they feel attracted to Hari Guna. So Shukadeva Goswami became attracted to, what is that? Hearing the Bhagavatam verses. Then he came to them and said, what did you chant? He said, this is Bhagavatam. Who told you this? Our Guru, Vyasadeva. He is teaching us this. Take me to him, I also want to come. He got attracted by Bhagavatam. He didn't get attracted by his father, his situation, his liberation, nothing. But he got attracted by Bhagavatam. Ittam bhutta gunohari. Came back home. Father was very happy to meet him. But the simple thing is that I am meeting you because of Bhagavatam, not because you are my father. That is the real thing that's happening. I am attracted to my real father, Krishna, and his pastimes. And you are going to talk about it to me, so I am very grateful to you. In this way, he sat with his father and heard the whole Bhagavatam. It's mentioned in the Bhagavatam that Shukadeva Goswami heard it from Vyasadeva, his father. He heard the whole Bhagavatam. Now it came out of the mouth of Shukadeva in another different way. It's expanded further. It was dripping with rasa. Sukhamukhat amrita dravasam yutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. It became filled with rasa, as Shukadeva Goswami was narrating it. From Krishna, who spoke aham evasam evagre, he just spoke simple paka statements. Anything in this world that you see without connection to me is illusion. Everything in this world is an extension of me. Whole material world, the cosmos is my energy. And if you want to understand the absolute truth, you must understand it up to this level. In this way, he gave instructions, 4 verses. That's all. But when it came out to the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami, it was very different. It had expanded and it had also become very relishable. Became very relishable. Devotees of the Lord, when they speak Harikatha, even liberated persons, great persons, everybody come to hear it. When Shukadeva Goswami was speaking, his father was sitting, Vyasadeva was sitting. I'm not thinking like that. I only taught you Bhagavatam. What is it? I won't come for your class. Not only Vyasadeva, Narada Muni is sitting there. Who? The Guru of Vyasadeva. He is also sitting there. And Parashara Muni is sitting there. Father of Vyasadeva is sitting there. These are all the audience of Shukadeva Goswami. He is naked 16-year-old boy. And Maharaj Parikshit is asking him, tell me what I should do. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki. And he is given a seat to sit down. And in the audience are such great people like Narada Muni and Vyasadeva and Parashara Muni. They are all sitting and hearing Shukadeva Goswami. You see, it's like me speaking here and my Guru Maharaj sitting, Prabhupada sitting, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sitting. How will it be? Not only that, his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also sitting. How will it be? I will get up and maybe go inside or hide myself somewhere. Cannot speak, right? Shukadeva Goswami spoke. Sukhamukhad amrita drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika. And who's writing this? Vyasadeva is writing that Sukhamukhad. It came out of the mouth of Sukha. After he has taught Sukha. This is the amazing thing. He is writing about Sukadeva Goswami speaking it. Isn't it very amazing? Why? When it came out of his mouth, it was dripping with rasa. And Maharaj Parikshit also is drinking it through his ears. Yakkarnanadim geharatim chindanti. It is drinking. No sleeping, no eating, day and night they are both discussing Bhagavatam. Such is the value of Bhagavatam. Especially when it is expanded and resounded by devotees of the Lord who have love for Krishna. When they speak the Bhagavatam, it is everybody is hearing. It doesn't matter, I have heard it before. It is not about information. It's about rasa. It's about rasa. It expanded and expanded and expanded, came out of the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami. So that is why we are hearing Katha. Krishna Katha is not simply story. It is his story. It is not simply story, it is his story. That's why it is history. That's how the word history came. They don't know. The word history is his story. That's what is Bhagavatam. From Bhagavatam only all other history came in. Inside the Bhagavatam is all these 10 characteristics. That's why it's called Mahapurana. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanam utayah manvantra ishanukata nirodho muktirashayah. 10 characteristics. Sarga visarga. Sarga means original first creation done by Mahavishnu. Karnarnavashayi Vishnu. He is doing the basic creation, the 16 elements. He is creating the tanmatras, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, the pancha mahabhutas, all of those things he first sets it. The ingredients, the most important ingredient, he gives that. Then he impregnates the entire pradhana with living entities. That is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna himself. What does it say? Dadami garbham. Giving you a hint. What does Krishna say? I impregnate the whole universe with living entities. That is, I am the seed giving father. Correct. Etad yonini bhutani. That is different. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti jaha tasam brahma mahad yonir aham bija pradapita. You must remember all these shlokas. You cannot just remember only your bank balance and remember your passport number and your Aadhaar card number. You must also remember shlokas. Don't think it is not very useful. If you don't remember after so many years this thing, you should read Bhagavad Gita and you should remember these things. Dadami garbham. Inside the garbha of the material nature, I impregnate living entities. Then from there, Brahma takes over. The 3 modes start acting. After that, Visarga, secondary creation, he takes over. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam, the whole cosmos and the creation, the material world. Sthanam, the place where the living entities actually enjoy material enjoyment and get all the facilities that they need. Poshanam, the Lord is nourishing all the living entities and especially the devotees. Utayaha, Uti, the creative impetus. Manvantri Ishanukata, all the Manus, 17 Manus, 14 Manus, and their Ishanukata, the science of God. Nirodho Mukti Rashaya. Nirodho means the winding up of the whole creation. Mukti, liberation. Ashraya, taking shelter of Krishna, the supreme shelter. The Ashraya portion is the most important thing. All these 10 characteristics are there in all the Puranas. But many of them don't speak about all the 10. They speak about 6, 5, 4, 8, 7. Too much of this. But Ashraya, nobody speaks much about. None of the other Puranas speak much about. Ashraya is Janma Dasyayataha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. About Krishna. Only in the Bhagavatam you will see Ashraya is detailed to a great extent, spoken about. Take shelter of Krishna. He is the shelter giving person for everybody. Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. One who satisfies the desires of everybody, every other living entity, and who is an independent Abhijñah Swarat. That description of the supreme Samam Bonam, the absolute truth, Krishna, that is given extensively in the Bhagavatam. That is why it's called Mahapurana. Bhagavata Mahapuranam, they will tell like that. But all others are not called Mahapurana. Puranas are classified into 3 according to the 3 modes. Satvika Purana, Rajasika Purana and Tamasika Purana. And in the Satvika Purana you have Garuda Purana, Varaha Purana, Matsya Purana, Vishnu Purana. Like that, 6 Puranas. Out of that, one is Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is called Mahapurana because all 10 characteristics you will find extensively, especially Ashraya. The 10th canto deals with completely Krishna's pastimes. So these 10 characters, I am describing it very briefly, are the Lakshana of a Purana. But Bhagavatam has got this brilliant, special aspect of the Ashraya being described in great detail. 90 chapters of the 10th canto. The largest amount of chapters in any canto. It's a huge chunk of the whole Bhagavatam. Completely dedicated to Krishna and his pastimes. This is what Vyasadeva understood by speaking to Narada Muni. So he enumerated the pastime. So the 10th canto is the real juice. And in that the Rasa Leela is the topmost performance. But in order to reach that level, you should start from the first canto. Gradually learn and mature in understanding of the absolute truth. Then come to the 10th canto. So the Padma Purana describes the whole rupa of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the form of the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. Bhagavatam has got a form. First and second canto are his 2 feet. Right? And the third and fourth canto are his shanks and knees. And then the thighs are the 5th canto. The hip is the 6th canto. Like that, it goes on and on. Chest is, then the neck, 9th canto. 10th canto is the face. The 11th canto is the forehead. 12th canto is the kiridam. In this way, Bhagavatam has got a form. It is a personality. He is Krishna. Bhagavatam and Krishna are not different. So he's got a form. So Bhagavatam is worshipped. Bhagavatam is worshipped. The best type of worship of the Bhagavatam is to read it. The best type of the Bhagavatam is to worship, is to read it. So every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya you must do. You must read it. Actually, you don't have a choice that someday you can read, someday you don't have to read. You must read it every day. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. It must be a culture of you sitting and listening to the Bhagavatam. Spend time exclusively for that. Sit and listen. It is a very enjoyable thing to do. Actually, whole world, everybody should do only this. Sit and chant and hear Bhagavatam. Morning to evening, chant and hear Bhagavatam. Eat a little prasadam, go to sleep. You will be perfectly alright. You will be the best citizens in the whole world. The most advanced people will be those who regularly read and hear Bhagavatam and serve Bhagavatam. Actually, that is what is the whole culture of Bhagavatam being taught to us. If we can, but the problem is we cannot. Because of Rajogun and Tamogun. We will not sit in one place and chant or sit and hear Bhagavatam. You will get disturbed some way or the other. And especially now if you have the phone with you, you will all the time be disturbed. So, but this is what we are supposed to do. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. There's nothing more important. But we are doing it a little bit on the side at least. At least on Sunday we are doing it together. Other times I really don't have time. Because Maya completely keeps you engaged. With that anxiety, that work, this work, that, this, everything. And we get a little time somewhere to chant Hare Krishna and squeeze it inside. This is where we are. So, the real culture is Bhagavatam is in the center and the life rotates around it. It's not that Bhagavatam is in the periphery. Sometimes I meet it. Sometimes I meet with it in the day, in the 24 hours of the day. By mistake, I meet with it. It should be the other way around. So, this chapter, there's a next chapter that says Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions, in which the 10 characteristics are described and a deep description is given by Shukadeva Goswami. So, don't think that reading Bhagavatam is an option, especially serious devotees. They should not think brushing my teeth is an option. Eating food is an option. Actually, the doctor will say better you treat it as an option because your weight has gone up so much. Better you treat food as an option. I have, that's one thing I'll not miss. I may not brush my teeth also. But food I will not leave. I need to eat. So some things for sure you will do. Like taking a bath, brushing your teeth, passing stool, and do certain things I must do, otherwise how will I live? Bhagavatam should become like that. I must read the Bhagavatam. How can I live and breathe otherwise? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. If we do like that, we'll also be benefited with the realization of this Chatushloki, the 4 shlokas. We'll also be benefited. We should not treat the Bhagavatam as an option. Mandatory that you chant Hare Krishna and read Bhagavatam every day. Every day. Just like we do everything else every day regularly, otherwise we won't exist in proper health. So we must make, that is why Prabhupada started the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So that the members of the Krishna Conscious movement will make this a daily activity. Reading every day the Bhagavatam. Different people I know read at different times. I know people who first thing in the morning read Bhagavatam before coming for Mangalarti, half an hour. Then they come for Mangalarti, chant their japa, everything, and in the evening again they will read Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. A regular schedule they have. They won't eat, they won't this thing unless they have made it a habit. They made it a habit. They just make this thing and in this way they have covered the entire Bhagavatam very systematically. Very systematically. If you make it a discipline, make it a discipline. So Prabhupada instituted Bhagavatam class every day in the morning. He made everybody chant the shloka and then he explained that shloka and he asked for questions and answers. And in this way he made it a culture When he went to America, this is what he did every day, whether it was 1 people, 2 people, or 10 people, or 1,000 people. Every morning he'll be there for Bhagavatam class. He'll give the class. The temple should do that. In the temple, every morning Bhagavatam class, every evening Bhagavad Gita class. Otherwise, why it is a temple? Temple is a place where people are educated. They are given education. People who come here should be educated. That's our business. We are not only sellers of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita books and read the scores in front. We are also people who teach people the Bhagavatam. This is university. There is no university like this anywhere. Every morning you have Bhagavatam class, every evening you have Bhagavad Gita class. At home also you must try to read, you must chant Hare Krishna. Fill your life with Bhagavatam's instructions. This is what is the mission of Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. He took the Bhagavatam all over the world. And if you read the Padma Purana, you will see that conversation between Bhakti and Gyan. In that she is telling, now I am in Vrindavana, but at some point of time I will leave Vrindavana and go to foreign lands. This is mentioned in the Padma Purana. In Kali Yuga, I will leave Vrindavan and go to foreign lands and influence people to take bhakti. This is very amazing quote to me. And then another similar conversation of Prabhupada is, in Cochin, Prabhupada is come in the Jaladuta and the Jaladuta is docked for 2 days. August 21st and 22nd, 1965. Jaladuta is waiting there. Prabhupada is waiting for the consignment of Bhagavatam that is just printed, I think 1st, 2nd, 3rd canto, which is going to come and he is going to put it into Jaladuta. It has come to Cochin. It's coming to Cochin. From Cochin he has to put it in Jaladuta and take it to America. He is being asked by somebody, Swamiji, are you going to America? He is replying, Bhagavatam is going to America, I am accompanying. It is simply the same quote. Bhagavatam is going to, look at the consciousness of Prabhupada. He is thinking, Bhagavatam is going, I am going as a servant of Bhagavatam. I will go and distribute Bhagavatam, explain the Bhagavatam. I will do Bhagavad Seva. So he is answering, Bhagavatam is going to America. I am accompanying as a servant. I am sure that person did not understand what is this explanation. I don't understand. But this is a quote from the Padma Purana. Vrindavanam parityajya. I will go to foreign lands. Videsham gamyate. It is mentioned there. I will go to foreign lands in Kali Yuga. I will leave this place and go to foreign lands. And the person who did it, took Bhagavatam to foreign lands, is Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. It's a historical thing. It is written in the Vedic literature that one person will come and do this. He did that. He actually took the holy name and Bhagavatam and spread it all over the world. In every nook and corner. He was a person meant to do it. So here he is saying, following in that same expansion, we have humbly tried to do our bit. You see, Prabhupada say, I was feeling very much when Prabhupada is writing here like this, very humbly. All these people expanded, he is saying. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed this to Rupa Goswami in a nutshell, but the disciple Rupa Goswami expanded this very elaborately. And the same subject was further expanded by Jiva Goswami and even further by Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura. We are just trying to follow in the footsteps of all these authorities. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not like an ordinary fiction. It's just put one sentence. We are trying to follow like these great personalities. We're not saying I. We are trying to follow very respectfully. Right? And in the introduction to the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes, I know my mother tongue is not English and I'm writing Bhagavatam commentary in English. It will be full of faults. But it's mentioned here, abadhavatyapi. It says in the shloka, Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Prati Shlokam Abaddavatyapi. Even though there is mistake, because it is about Krishna, it is perfect and it will be accepted. So Prabhupada is humbly stating that I am writing in a language that is not my mother tongue. There may be mistakes. And although there may be mistakes, the topic is about Krishna. And so I hope that everybody will accept it and they will be affected by it. And here he is humbly saying, following in the same thing, I have also done my bit by explaining the Bhagavatam. Everybody who reads the Bhagavatam will fall in love with it. It's at a certain point of time you develop a taste for the Bhagavatam. And every shloka of the Bhagavatam is juicy and very attractive. And then you want to explain it to somebody else and tell them this. The thing about reading Bhagavatam is it makes you feel so good that you want to talk about it to others. The other day we were in Kuruvayur and we were recollecting this pastime of Pundanam. Pundanam was a very local preacher. He used to read the Bhagavatam like nothing and explain it in simple local language. And he wrote that poetry also, Jnanapana, summarizing the whole Bhagavatam. Very beautifully, very nicely. People become so attracted and completely absorbed in the Bhagavatam that everywhere they read the Bhagavatam, they are seeing Krishna and they are so happy seeing Krishna. They are very fortunate. Because once you get a taste for Bhagavatam, then that's it, your life is successful. That happens when you do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And then afterwards, you cannot be without reading it every day. You will feel empty. Oh, I have not touched the Bhagavatam and read Bhagavatam today. Yeah. So, Prabhupada says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also that you may become strong by eating grains. Ye leela amrita vina khaya yadi annapane tabe bhaktere durlabha jivana tare eka bindu utfulita khatanumane. If you simply eat grains and you will become fat and good, nourished, there is no use. Every day you must taste one bindu, one drop of this Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita. You must read and you must Tare Eka Bindu, Utfulita Tanumane Hase Ghaya Koraye Nartana. If you take one drop of this, you will start laughing, dancing, chanting, you become very happy. Every day one bindu, one drop, you must indulge in the Bhagavatam. Right? So this is our culture, that wherever we can, we open the Bhagavatam, we read and we enjoy the Bhagavatam. Krishna is saying this, Parikshit is saying this, Shukadeva Goswami is saying this, Bhishma is saying this, Prahlad is saying this, Vidura is saying this, Maitreya is saying so many wonderful instructions. So many wonderful instructions. So Prabhupada is saying, every shloka is representing Krishna. Don't think only Chatushloki and the remaining 17,994 is useless. He's telling you, don't think like that. Everything is Krishna. Every portion of it is very relishable. There's so much that can be spoken about the Bhagavatam. How great personalities have commented on the Bhagavatam. Who knows the Bhagavatam? Who may not know the Bhagavatam? All these things are written by great personalities. But somehow by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's mercy, the whole world has been given Bhagavatam in so many languages. So many languages. I was so happy about some 10 years back, they produced the Chinese Bhagavatam. Very beautiful edition, gold embossed. They had the Chinese government itself produce it under their plan and scheme. That's another story. I don't want to say publicly. But in this way, everybody will get the Bhagavatam. It's so beautiful. I'm sure Prabhupada will be so thrilled. All the previous acharyas with the Bhagavatam in Chinese, and Bhagavatam in Arabic. All these are fantastic things. All this done by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in every language. Put the Bhagavatam, put the Bhagavad Gita inside. Save people. Give them a chance to associate with Krishna. So this is great service. That's why we should read, indulge in the Bhagavatam, and you should spread the knowledge of the Bhagavatam. Give people Bhagavat. Every nook and corner, there should be devotees opening the Bhagavatam and speaking the stories and giving them simple instruction to Hare Kirtan. Why not? Every street corner we should have Bhagavatam corner. And we should be speaking Bhagavat. Anybody can come, they'll get a little prasadam, Kirtan. Constantly Bhagavatam should be going on. You can come in. I think that's what we should do. 24 hours Bhagavatam. You can turn on the radio. Anywhere, in any language, you should be able to get Bhagavatam. In any language, you can tune in. I'm sure in ISKCON in the future it will be available. 24 hours. Because we have so many centers all over the world, somewhere Bhagavatam class is going on throughout the 24 hours. Isn't it? It just has to be relayed in that particular language. If you connect it up together, put a satellite, anywhere you can connect. This time there will be Bhagavatam here, according to the, standard of the time. We can make the whole world hear Bhagavatam all the time. So this is Prabhupada's contribution. Om Tat Sat. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Any question or comment? Anybody has any question or comment? Yeah. That I have to explain English language to you as it is used by respectful, cultured people who were Hindus at the time of Britishers. Why they called it we. That's a whole history of language and many things to be said. But respectably cultured people would use we instead of saying I. It's a more respectful way of saying, a more subordinate and subservient service attitude way of saying we instead of saying I. That's my understanding. So Prabhupada will use the word we. He's that time this thing. Nowadays people directly say I. It's not considered to be very, in cultured society, it's not cultured word say. Ninga, Vanga, Ponga. Why are saying? It's a respectful thing. Same way, the English language equivalent of respectful mention about oneself is we. I can't say ayinga. That's why. Any other question? Yeah. There is nothing called Devi Bhagavatam. It was never written by Vyasadeva. Yes. So it is not he is confusing people. People want that. He is giving it to them. They are in that level of worship. So they should be given because they are on the track. On the ladder, they are somewhere in the ladder. Everybody in the ladder should be provided. Only top ladder ever. What is the use of providing people in the lower ladder? No, everybody is progressing. From first standard to 11th standard, 12th standard. Isn't it? So everybody is on the way. They'll slowly come up. So everybody has to be provided wherever they are. So this person's consciousness, this person's development is to this level. He is a Shiva Bhakta. He is a Muruga Bhakta. He is a Ganesh Bhakta. He is a No Bhakta. So for all of them, the provision is there. Vedic literature is very vast. Krishna saying, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya. All of them are my children. But what to do? They are in different levels of ignorance and knowledge. So wherever they are, I have to provide for them. So that's why he's saying, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktah shraddhayar chitumicchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadhami aham. Whichever demigod you want to worship by your so-called shraddha and faith, it is me who makes it possible for you to worship that demigod from within your heart. So much Krishna is kneeling down and allowing you to do nonsense. Although he is the supreme absolute truth, he is situated in your heart, he is doing it. Because he respects your individuality, your free will, and is waiting for your reciprocation of love. So, in Krishna's domain, all Krishna's children, even if they have turned away from him, have to depend on him only. So he provides. So literary incarnation of the Lord is providing literature for everybody. But everywhere, somewhere he mentions Vishnu is the absolute. In fact, if you read all the Vedic literature, you will have to conclude that Krishna is the supreme. Alodhya sarvashastrani vicharya cha punah punah idamekam sunishpannam dheyo narayana sada. This shloka is mentioned in the Padma Purana, in the Garuda Purana, in the Skanda Purana, also in the Shiva Purana. In 4 Puranas, same shloka. Alodhya sarvashastrani vicharya cha punah punah. Sarvasastrani, after going through all the shastras again and again, punah punah, idamekam sunishpannam dheyo narayana sada. It is firmly concluded that Narayana alone is the supreme and he should be worshipped. Right? So we have some isolated information. Say Shiva Purana, it is mentioned like that, and then we talk like that. Go and read the Shiva Purana, you will see what is mentioned in that. You will see what is mentioned in that. You will see relationship. Vishnu will always be glorified everywhere. Somehow or the other, indirectly, directly, has to be. Has to be. Right? So, Vyasadeva is writing under the order of the Lord. He is a literary incarnation of the Lord. So, the literature is written in such a way that without forcing you, influencing you to surrender to Krishna gradually. That is why Vyasadeva is feeling that why don't he directly mention Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? I didn't do that. So he is feeling disappointed. And Narada Muni is coming, okay, you wrote so much indirect literature, now write direct. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. Only Krishna you will see there. And his manifestations and everything. Everything else is nonsense is mentioned. Dharma projita kaitavo atraparamo nirmatsaranam satam. Dump every religion that is not directly preaching Krishna consciousness. Useless, it says. Uses strong words. Completely different from all the other Puranas. And condemns anything or anything out of Krishna consciousness. Like that. So when you read Bhagavatam, you will get the real thud. This is what is the meaning of the Vedas. You will understand. Then after that you read other Puranas, then you will understand very well why it is written like that. Okay? Yes. Om Tat Sat. Any other question or comment? Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. I understand all of you are reading Bhagavatam and vigorously distributing the Bhagavatam.